Okay, have you gone through the file which I have shared in Slack yesterday? You had time to see it?
Now, what I did was I took note of the notes, whatever you were sharing, and was writing in details. I was going through it as well.
Okay. So in this case, so we will just go through the syllabus what we have gone through yesterday, and we'll
Yeah,
see the today's topic. Okay.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. And yesterday we have seen the overview of basics of Excel module, and and we have seen customizing the common options in Excel yesterday. Only these two options we have seen, and providing an overview, we have provided an overview about what is a workbook and what is a worksheet, and we have seen about how
Yep,
what is mean by cells, rows and columns, and how to do the data entry and formatting, what formattings are to be. These are the options which we have seen in the general option. We can customize it related to functions and formulas, charts and graphs, and how to do the sorting and filterings, and what is mean by pivot tables,
yeah,
and how to do the data analysis, and how to do the saving and sharing, keyboard shortcuts, and what is mean by macros and automations. And we have seen about the data protection and tips for efficiency, and we have this is an this is repeats. And also in the first process is related to customizing the common options. In common options we have the general option, proofing, advanced option, add-ins, data entry and web options. And if you go through the document only, you can easily understand it, right? Because the words are in very simpler language.
true, true, true. Agreed.
Okay, ribbons, trust center, accessibilities, we have it. So we'll continue with the second process of providing the overview of the basics of Excel and related to absolute and relative cells, and protecting and unprotecting the worksheets and cells. This is what we are going to cover today, and also I will try to cover for the schedule. I will try to cover working with function module as well today. So this is the agenda for today.
Okay, the specific one, I was looking into LinkedIn just to apply few roles. Not apply, but just to get an overview of what is there. Looking into all these process, project coordinators and all that thing. But they were asking me particularly for, as you said, power, project management certification, and Jira, along
Yes.
with this, you mentioned this diagram, Visio, is it?
Visio.
Visio, okay?
Visio is a tool like,
Visio,
yeah, Visio is a tool like Jira. So Jira is a product from Atlassian, right?
Okay.
It is a product family of Atlassian, and the same is like Visio is a product of Microsoft. But in Jira, you will manage the projects like it is a project management tool. Like
Okay.
we can maintain issues. I mean, we can maintain the issue trackers, bugs, incidents. We can create it. We can create tasks, subtasks. So basically, they are to maintain. I mean, to manage the project, right? So,
Yeah.
but however, Visio is to map and model the business processes. So both are the usage is very radical, right? Very different. And see, this is like Visio, the tool which I am using it right now, Signavio.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yes.
so they provide much less functionalities than Visio.
Less functionalities, is it?
Yes, it is a very simpler tool, Signavio.
Okay.
But comparing to Visio and you have IBM's Blueworks Live and you have Aries. Aries, okay. Aries is a product portfolio of Software AG. It is a German company, so they have much more functionalities than Signavio for process modeling and mapping, and also process mining. If you ask me, I can also suggest Celonis. Have you heard about Celonis? CLONIS?
These are all the first time I'm hearing about all
So
these tools.
so they are like it is also a I mean it is also a process mining tool, Celonis, and it is the number one company for managing the organization end to end. So it provides the overall hierarchy of a company in a simpler prospects. So Celonis, I believe that is what I intend to learn it right now. I'll have to learn
Okay.
it. Yeah. So we'll see about absolute and relative
Yes.
cells. Customizing the common option. So what is meant by absolute and relative cells? So we can see a relative cell reference. So relative self-reference is like when a cell is referenced in the formula is relative. It changes when the formula is copied or moved. Okay. And also we will provide an example. Absolute self-reference. So you understand what is the difference of relative and absolute, right? You have any idea about it? Okay. So in the basic terminology, we can understand it, right? So relative is like it is a reference cell. Okay. Absolute is like it is an independent cell. So it has not referenced with any of the other cells. This is what actually it means.
It remains constant,
Yes, correct.
unaffected.
Yes, correct. So if you read the document only, you can easily understand it.
As in the PDF copy we created of it.
Instead of PDF copy, you can just refer this document only, which we are creating it right now.
Yes, yes.
Because this is the breakdown of the processes.
Do we get to use all of this in Tableau or Power BI?
Yes, this can all be used in the Tableau tool, but instead we will not be doing it individually, right? Cell by cell we will not be editing or
Mm-hmm.
so
Yes, yes.
so in the bulk quantity only we'll upload it to the Tableau and we'll ask the tool to analyze and provide the result in however the way we want.
Okay.
So this is the simpler concept. If you so I'll also suggest you there are some examples also given. Okay, you can add some
Mm.
manual values like to reference the cell. I'm just telling you like this. If a formula contains reference to a cell, example A1 plus B1, you copy it to a new cell. So this is an example. You can also try using it. if a formula contains a reference to the cell A1, okay, so A1 is this cell, you can see
Yeah.
here, right? A1 is this cell, and I will add a random number, for example, like 200, and it says B1. So B1 is related to, I will say 100, and you copy it to a new cell. The reference will adjust relative to the new location. In the formula is copied to cell C2, become C2 D2. Maybe okay. I have put the formula for A1 to A1 plus B1 is equal to C1 is the result for A1 plus B2. I mean B1, right? So what I will do is I will add some random numbers like 300 plus 200 here, and when I intend to copy, copying and pasting it, right? When I copy and paste it, I will get the same result, because you see,
Did you copy and paste or did you just drag it down?
I have copied it. I've copied and pasted it. I will also show you one minute.
Because even if I'm dragging it down,
Yeah,
it
it
still
will.
gives the
Yes,
same
still
answer.
we can, get the result. You see.
Okay.
So how
Yeah.
much we are dragging it, we'll get the result for all these columns. This is what it says, referenced by another cell. Okay. However, we have put the formula in C1. So when we drag or copied it to the another cell, the same, I mean, in the same sequence flow, we'll get the result for with the same formula, referenced by another. Okay, this is what it says basically. Okay, and
Yeah.
absolute cell is like absolute reference. When a cell reference is absolute, it remains constant. So this is what I mentioned about absolute is very individual and independent, and it will not affect the previous data which we have entered in another cell.
Okay.
So absolute reference is denoted by adding a dollar symbol before the column letter, row number, or both. For instance, when you copy a formula with absolute reference, the reference cell will stay the same regardless of where the formula is copied. Okay. Maybe this symbol we will have to use it for the absolute. Okay, so you have it. So whenever you have
Okay.
time, try to use it in the Excel. If you don't find the result, or if it is throwing an error, so we will have a talk about it, how to do it, and what way we are going wrong. So yesterday you were asking about do you need some work to do, right, or some homework to do if you wanted to try it yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
So these kind you can do. Okay, because only we are covering for Excel, right? When you have time, you can just put the example in your understanding, adding some random
Mhm.
numbers. So if it is throwing an error, you just we are just only seeing the logics, right? Excel,
Yeah.
how logically it can be worked, it can be utilized. This is what we are seeing it. So we'll also see the mixed cell reference. So also we are seeing how practically we are using for absolute. That's it. Okay, we will see what is a mixed cell reference. So mixed references, it contains both absolute and relative elements. So we have seen what is absolute, which is independent, and relative is dependent on some other cells. Relative elements. Okay, one part is fixed while the other adjust when copied. And also I have given you the example. If you have A1 in a formula and copy it across columns, the column reference will remain fixed while the row reference one will change. So as actually it says, so when we are copying across the columns, so this is a columns, right? So these are all columns.
Hmm.
So when we are copying it, when we are copying the formula across the columns, where we are copying in the third line, fourth line, but only in the D, I mean only in the C, because we have already entered it. Only in the C column we have entered the formula. Okay, and it will not affect the row, it will only affect the column, it will not affect the row. This is what it actually says. When you say, you see the column reference A will remain fixed while the row reference will change. So actually it says the row reference will change, the row will change. Oh, absolutely right. This is what we have seen. So when I try to put some random numbers and copy and paste it here, I'll get the result. So you see, actually the row is changed, but the column is
So
still,
the formula stays the same.
yeah, the column stays the same. Correct? Correct, right? I'm confusing. It making sense,
A
right?
bit confused. So what I've understood is the formula doesn't change when we copy it in that row, is it?
Yeah, copied in the
So
sense
it
it
still
is
gives it.
related to relative, right? It is a relative cell. Relative in the sense we are referencing from A1 and B1.
Yeah.
So it will not
Yeah.
reference the A1 and B1 in the A2 column. I mean in the A2 row.
Hmm.
Right? The same formula will also be in the A3, which is referencing A3 and B3.
B2B.
A3 and B3, you see.
Okay.
So this is how it works. And also in Excel, you have a lot of features which can be done. So these are all more complex, right? So absolute is very different and relative is very different. And we have a whole concept of mixed cell reference. So those might be new features they might add for the Excel. But however, having a basic understanding of what is very essential, right? That's why we are seeing it,
Okay.
and we'll see what how they are practically using it. So absolute reference is like very independent and useful when referencing constant values like tax rates or fixed values that should not change when formulas are copied. So actually this is right. So when we are absolute is like a constant, right? Take for an example our name. So our name will not change because there are constants. If you are referencing
Yeah.
a noun, take for an example name of a place, thing, or what we say, a noun thing, right? Noun, name of a place, thing, object. So it will not change, it will remain constant. So when we are
Yeah.
so constant, we can use it as a absolute reference. And relative reference is handy for calculations, so obviously, so when we do some calculations, we will obviously use the reference cell to do the calculation. So this is what it says about absolute and relative cells. And protecting and unprotecting the worksheets. So what is mean by protecting and unprotecting? So how to do the protecting and unprotecting? This is what we are going to see, because this is an overview. Protecting the entire worksheet. So we're going to review tab on the Excel ribbon and click on protect sheet. And we will need to enter a password as well. So we'll see whether the options are available in the Excel. We'll need to go to the review tab on the Excel ribbon, and we'll have to protect the worksheet. So we'll see whether we have the option or not. The review, we have an option to protect the worksheet. This is what it says, right? So we can actually protect the sheet. We can add the password and save it, and also we can add some ranges. This is what it says in the another topic in the below.
It's the same on Mac as well. It does it from particular.
Uh, can you speak a bit louder, Nisha?
Yeah. Is it the same for Mac as well?
Yeah, yeah. The concept is very similar. Like I'm not only referring the Microsoft Excel. I'm also providing the concept of you can utilize in Google Sheets or Zoho Sheet or Numbers, whichever we prefer to work. Because we need
Okay.
to see only about the workbook, right? I'm not very concerned about
Mm-hmm.
only the Excel.
Okay.
I mean the Microsoft Excel. So right click on a cell or column or row. So this is protecting specific elements. So we'll see what they have provided. So we have protecting the specific elements. So we will see what is an element is like. Here we'll go to this single sheet, and this in this value we'll go right click, and we see where do we see an option protecting format cells, and go to the protection tab. So we can actually we have you see we have n number of features we can select or unselect to protect only these elements inside a cell, or we can protect the entire workbook. Protecting the sheet, this is an entire sheet, right? We can also protect the sheet, or we can only protect these areas which they are referring it as an elements. So we can protect it. We have a lot of options here in the online version, and also in offline also you will have the same features. Okay, this is what it actually says, protecting the specific elements. And we have seen about protecting the entire worksheet and protecting specific elements. And also we know where to see it. In the review option, we will have, you see, we have the manage protection, or we can actually more customizable. The ribbons also we can do it more very customizable. So if you don't find any options here, just search for any uh, functions you wanted to
Okay.
perform. Okay, you will
That's
always have an option to search for the function. So we can do it, and we'll see protecting the specific elements. We've already seen. We'll see about unprotecting the worksheet. So unprotect is just we are unchecking the boxes. It's very simply. So how to do the unprotecting? Unprotecting the entire worksheet. Go to the review tab. You click on the unprotect and you enter the password. So to unprotect the file, we actually will put a password. So make sure we remember the password.
okay. So, in case if you forget the password, is there any chance that we can still
Yes,
unlock the workbook?
there must be possibilities. There should be possibilities to retrieve it.
Okay.
Unprotecting a specific. So unprotecting specific elements is like specific elements. Follow similar steps. Protecting a cell within a worksheet. we need to select the ranges that you wanted to protect in the cell, and the same procedure will be same. Right clicking and clicking on the format cells. So the same, it's like we will go to the protection tab. So when you have time, please go through the worksheet, I mean, which I'm providing or uploading in the Slack, and also see if the features are available in the Excel, whichever you're version. I mean, whichever the version you're using, be it regardless numbers or in Google Sheet or in Excel. If you find any variations, we will discuss about it. Or
Yeah.
if you're not finding anything, we'll just see. So this is all. This is more or less. It is like the same thing only. How we are how do we need to unprotect a specific cell, or how do we need to, because we have seen all the options here, right? The manage protection. So we have an option to entirely protect the sheet, or we can add the ranges to protect it, or we have password protected, or we have n number of users. I mean, n number of options to check box, whether to format the cells or the format the columns or rows. So we can ask if we are checking on delete columns. I believe people will not be able to delete the columns when you happen to protect it. It should happen. Okay. So we have completed about mostly the overview of basics of Excel. And we'll see about working with functions. It's about what is meant by working with functions. Okay. So this is what I meant, Nishal. So in the first page, we have a number of, uh, I mean, in the draw.io first page, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 pages of document which you can always refer for, related to
Okay.
related to providing the overview of basics of Excel and customizing common options in Excel, and what is meant by absolute and relative cells, and protecting and unprotecting. So in the next page in the draw.io, so I'll just rename this as working with functions. So what functions we are working? So that is what will be mentioned in the page 2. So the first one is related to overview of the X. I mean the overview of the what is it? Basics of Excel. And the second one is module 5.2. Working with functions. So what options are available in working with functions? We'll see it. So actually it says working with function in Excel involves using predefined formulas. So if we are using a formula like be it a statistical, mathematical, or average, if we do this, use this function in the Excel, it is a predefined formula to perform some calculations, which is manipulated by the data and to analyze information effectively. So functions are categorized based on purposes and can be used to execute various tasks within a spreadsheet. Okay, so inside a spreadsheet we can use the functions. So we'll see what type of functions are available. Function basic. What basic function they are providing? About the syntax. Syntax is a function, right?
Syntax, is it?
Yeah, syntax. So functions have a specific structure, including the function name, arguments, and sometimes options or controls. So this is a syntax. Syntax, it has a definition, right? This should be the definition. Syntax is like the functions that have a specific structure, including the functional name, arguments, and sometimes options or conditions. They will contain all these conditions or options or arguments, including the functional name, and it has a specific structure. This is what a syntax means. And we'll see what is arguments. So arguments are these are inputs required by the function. So without an argument, syntax will not might not work, I believe. So these are all inputs required by the function, such as cell reference, numbers, text, logical values, etc. We'll see it in the Excel in some time. I'll show you what is what.
Oh,
So the common type of functions. Mathematical function we have, and we have text function, and then we have logical functions, and then we have lookup and reference functions. And we have date and time function. We have statistical functions. We have financial functions. These are all some of the examples which Excel can perform, and they have n number of functions. And also we can always we can ask for a function to be performed in the Excel, right? Based upon the situation, based upon the requirement of our clients or our requirements, we can just add more functions. So these are all some of the common functions. So did you understand these syntax and the arguments?
Yeah, I understood syntax and things.
Arguments are like these things are the arguments. Like the syntax is, so what I believe is, what I understanding in my opinion, equal to and plus sign are the syntax, and the arguments are like we are calling the reference of this cell b2 and calling the reference of this value to add it. So this makes easier understanding, right, to what is mean by syntax and how we have used the arguments to calculate.
So, any signs are an example of what syntax is.
That
You
is
said
what my
equal
understanding
to
it.
plus signs and
Yeah, that is what my
okay.
understanding it for simpler reasons. To simply we can understand like this. Okay, equal to and plus or like syntax which is used to call a reference number of a1 and b1 to provide the total value. So the arguments which I have asked is like to reference a1 and b1, and the syntax I have asked for calculation using equal to and plus symbol, right? So simply I'm just providing an example. So this is the difference between the syntax and functions. So because arguments are required for a function to be performed, without an argument, they it will not perform, right? We should ask for it to perform. Okay, this is the functions basics, and the common type of function which we need to see it is related to mathematical function. So we can actually instead I will do it. So what I can do is like the mathematical operation like SUM. So before that, to provide the function, so can you tell me what is the mistake I'm doing here? Why it is not the result is not appearing?
It should put a mass from seconds of the sign.
Here, why some it is not appearing?
So some of what we need to copy, we need to
No, actually there is no
provide the
syntax.
other details.
The argument is available. We are asking it to sum these things, but the syntax is not available. That is why syntax is equal to.
Equal.
Equal to is the syntax. Sum of what? What sum? Sum of this thing.
C1 plus Q.
So This
Why
isn't.
should we put as colon then? If somehow we, why should we put as plus then?
So
So,
maybe I'll just some random numbers. Because see, I'm going to reference these five cells. Okay,
okay.
reference these five cells, and this should be the result. So I'm calculating here. So in this case, I this since you have see I have used the mathematical syntax and arguments, a mathematical function of sum, which I have called for c1 to c3, which is 300, 500, 100, which you can see in the pop-up, right? Only I have
Yeah.
called for these three. And if you wanted this entire five rows, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is C1 to C5. I need the result in here. So what I will do is I will just change it to C5. So column in the sense, when I put a column, it will reference the five of the cells. When I put a reference to C2, it will take only two cells. You can see it, right? It highlighted in the blue. Are you getting my point? It's totally
Yeah,
confusing.
yeah, yeah, getting it now.
Okay. So
So, as in when we use a colon, it gives, it summarizes
the columns.
from, gives you the total,
Oh yeah.
right? From C1
From
to
two,
C5.
yeah, from to two. From and to, the column will identify. Here also I will do it. Okay. Okay. I will ask for average. Average of these five. You see, when I dragging and dropping it, you can see the column. It's changing actually. You can see it, right?
Yep.
Okay. And I will close the bracket and enter it, and I can see the average value for all these five numbers is 280. So these are all some of the mathematical functions. So we can use like some average rounding off and some maximum. What is the maximum value? And we'll find some minimum value. These are related to mathematical. And the text function is
So
related
it's
to concatenate. So concatenate. Have you heard about concatenate? The word. Okay, concatenate is like, so I will add my number. Okay, I will add my name here. So I will also show you the example. Okay, so what I will do is, so these two name has to be represented in the G column. You see, so instead of that, these two names, I mean the E column and F column, I mean in E5 and F5 we have two different names. I want both the names in a different column. So consolidate combines both of this. Either I can call for only four characters of this E column and last four characters of the F column. So based on my requirement, I might change, right? I will ask for the entire characters of these names, or I will only ask first four or last four, or first name or last name. So concatenate provides these functions to manipulate the text strings. So this is what it means, text functions. Okay, and we have logical functions. In concatenate, in the sense, in the text can be modified to from the left or right, from middle, or we can adjust the length of the strings or the texts. Okay, and we see the logical functions, and we can evaluate the conditions and return the logical results using if and or not. These are all some logics, right? And we can see some reference and We always will use a control F to find some data relevant to what we are looking for, right? So in this case, we have an option to look up and reference the function. So this is what I was mentioning about. When you go for an interview, they will ask about have you worked on VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, index and match. I mean, usually they will ask about what uh, what do you know about VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP? You have any idea about it? So nothing. You see, VLOOKUP is nothing but vertical lookup, looking up the column. So HLOOKUP is nothing but looking up the horizontal rows. So this is the different. Okay.
We look up this vertical.
Yeah, vertical.
Looking of vertical.
Vertical columns. Vertical is always columns, right?
Yeah.
Horizontal is always rows. So V lookup is vertical lookup, H lookup is horizontal lookup. So vertically, what will be looking? Vertically, we will be looking the columns, and horizontally, we will be looking the rows. So that's the difference between V lookup and H lookup, and it has a broad and wide range of functionalities which can we can use. I'm not much familiar with VLOOKUP and HLOOKUPs because I have not been using Excel so much because I don't want to do code. That is my objective, and also I'm from commerce background, right? So I will not be using much of programmings or formulas or syntaxes to perform those actions. I'll only analyze the functions.
Yes.
I mean, as I've already informed you, I'm being only a functional business analyst. But I can understand the concept of technical. So these are terms are related to technical, right? So as being a business analyst, you should be able to understand the technical terminologies at least, provide a basics. So that is why I learn all these. And you have a date and time function, so we can work with the times, date ranges, and date and time through arithmetic, like example providing today. I think so you see, when it is when it is connected to the internet. I don't know. We can use it. We can use the time format. We'll see it. We have those details. We have those examples how to work on it, and we have a statistical function to perform a statistical analysis, like providing average, which we have seen recently, and count if how many total characters are available, and median is related to what is the center point of the calculations what we are making. So we can do some statistical functions as well, and we can perform some financial functions for providing like interest rate and other loan tenures, and you see the how to say, the interest rates will always fluctuate rate based on the month or based on 6 months or something. The interest rate might change in the finance. So we can calculate some financial aspects of loans and interest rates and the cash flows which we are receiving related to finance. So these functions we can use it as a common type of functions.
Just a quick note when it comes to the functions.
What were you asking?
So it can do multiplication as well, or
Yeah, multiplication
you
is a
see the
part.
first one where
Yeah, multiplication is a part of mathematical functions, right?
yeah,
Yeah, so we have it.
because I have,
We have
and
it.
it's the same, is it? I'm trying it on my end,
Yeah.
just like for so I put in as equal to first, and then multiply.
So
The B1
would you
was
be
to
able to share your screen? I may stop for a moment.
yeah.
What you are trying, can you show me? Are you sharing?
Yes.
I'm not seeing anything. I have not received any notification. No, I'm not seeing your screen. Are you trying to share it or can I continue?
I'm actually trying to share, but it's not allowing me to getting you to privacy changes or something. I'm unlocking them now.
Yeah, yeah. I think you will have to do it with the preference.
About now,
About, you got the option?
has it got the option?
So we can try to complete it by 9 o'clock or still have time.
It's asking me to quit and reopen. What I'm if
Yeah,
I
yeah.
quit
It
and
will.
reopen, will I
Yeah.
be logging out? And is that what it means? Log out and then log in.
No, actually, I'll be in the huddle only. You can just join in the same huddle when you happen to quit and reopen.
Now
Have you tried sharing it?
I think I lost thinking, but now I'm not able to see your screen as well.
Actually,
So
I'm
I'm
not sharing. I'm waiting for you to share it.
yeah, 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 I can share now.
Okay, I can able to
Okay.
see your
So here,
screen. Yeah.
I put in as
No, that is
equal to multiply.
no multiply is what is that? We have already put the syntax equal to, right? So why do we need to write in? So you are trying to do some these things, mathematical operations like using the functions.
Yeah, here I tried the sum and it came out.
Okay.
This plus this.
Hmm.
Then I tried to do the same thing as in for multiplication.
So
And
what
then
we
I will switch this one.
yeah, what do you want to multiply?
B1, B2.
So equal to, logically we'll be doing like equal to b1.
Just B1 and B2.
Yeah, b1 and
Okay.
b2. You don't have to open the bracket also, right? You don't have to open the bracket. Why we are opening it? No, we are
Okay.
just doing the multiplication. No, b1 into b2. No, we have put the
Semicolon.
yeah,
Colon. Is
colon
it?
colon. So because we need the result in equal to is the syntax. Without equal to, the formula will not work, right? So eventually it should work.
Right. So the same for division as well. Huh?
Yeah, for
So no
division
need to
also
put
the
in the
same thing.
bracket.
We don't have to put any because this is very simple, right? When we are using some nested cells and all, we can use the brackets, or if we are using some if functions, we can use the bracket. So these are like very
Okay.
simple functions. We don't have to use the. We will go it into deeper when in which time we will be using the open bracket, close bracket, and you have seen some errors, right? Not applicable and some value. So we will go
Yeah,
through
yeah, yeah.
about what are those errors and mm, how to troubleshoot those errors. We will also see it. Okay. So you can stop sharing.
Okay.
You want to show me something, or you
Yeah.
will stop sharing? You have.
No, stop share.
Okay. So I'll share my screen once again. So these are the some of the common types of functions which we have seen, and we'll see using functions in Excel. So how we are using it? So inserting the function. And once we have inserted the function, we can use the auto sum function. This is functional argument dialog box. We will see about the nested function. And finally we have tips for working with the function. Okay. So how we need to use the functions in the Excel, like inserting the function. Click on the formulas tab and choose the desired function from the function library. So click on the formulas tab. So here we will click on the formulas tab and choose the desired function from the function library. Enter the required arguments. So these are the function library. We have auto sum. You see, so what I will do is I will click on this auto sum. Okay, you can see it, right? So Nishal, you see when I am
Yeah.
placing this reference in C column, okay, and there are some values also. When I am inserting the function, you have to, where can you find the function is like in the formulas. In the formulas I need all of this data to be auto sum. So this is the symbol for
Okay.
auto sum. So when I click on this, it will consider this C column. Okay, when I place the cell here and I will ask to auto sum in the C column, whatever the data is available, it will auto sum it. Get it right? So this is a function of
So you have to
autos.
place it on the C colon and then press auto sum.
Yeah.
Is it?
For example, I will place it in the B column and I will click on auto sum. So it will consider only the B column. Why? Because this is a kind of VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP in the sense vertical lookup. It is only considering the vertical. It is not considering any horizontal lines, right? So when I, for example, you see, you don't get confused. Okay. So I have provided some random numbers. Okay. I want the entire calculation of these things. How would you calculate?
Okay. So you select the F colon from,
Okay.
and then you press.
Okay, we don't have to select anything, right? We need the result in a single column. For an example, I need result in the H column. So I will do the auto sum of, that's it, right? It's very simple now.
So is it like first we select and first we click on the auto sum and select the values, is it?
No, so where do you need the result first of all? I mean, choose the cell where you need the result. Okay, I need the result in
Okay. Got
L
it.
column 20. Okay, 20th row.
Yep, yep.
L column 20th row. I need the result. Okay, so what I will do is I don't have to manually type everything. So what I will do is
Yeah,
I
yeah.
will click on, I will go to the formula. I need only the total value of f column, whatever the data is mentioned. So I'll place it in the L column, which is here, you can see, and I
Yep.
will click on the auto sum.
Auto sum.
Auto sum of what? Auto sum of F column.
F column. Yep.
When I
Yep.
enter
Got
it,
that.
I will get the result. Okay. What will happen is when I happen to add some, when I'm not adding it, I'm deleting it. It actually changes. You see,
Mm-hmm.
I'm deleting it. It actually changes, but the formula remains constant. Auto sum. Instead of doing it manually, how we have done, like equal to a1 plus b1 or c1, we have done it, right. So instead of that, we can just auto sum it. So this is a function. So insert in the function. So clicking on the formulas tab and choose the desired function, the formula library, enter the required arguments. You know where functions can be found, right? In the format, in the formulas tab.
Again, is it just the auto sum that can be used, or even
No, there are
multiplication,
many
division, and
many things, right?
subtraction?
Auto sum is there, average is there, count numbers are there, maximum, minimum. These are related to numerical functions. And we have, you see, there are a lot of functions. You can just go through one by one if you have time. You have a lot of functions, lot of formulas, predefined formulas. So sum is a predefined formula, right? So
Basically, when we do the big numbers,
yes, yes.
people
When you play with the big
they'll
data,
be
you can,
different.
yeah, you can just use these functions.
Is it safe to say that people working in large scale they'll be using maybe three different formula rather than manually doing
Yes, they will
entering it in
not they
Excel?
will not go for entire correction itself. They will only play with the formulas because
Okay,
they don't want to change any cells. They don't want to
right.
throw, they don't want to do see any errors, so that they will always reference the cells. So when they are referring the cell and they are doing some calculation, obviously the result will appear positive. So it
Okay.
won't go very wrong. So only if manual can make wrong, right? Manual, where we get a lot of percentage of getting incorrect answers. So here we can also have, we can see the functions like auto sum. Quickly apply basic functions like sum, average, count by using the auto sum on the toolbar. So and also we see the functional arguments dialog box. After selecting a function, Excel displays a dialog box to help input arguments and guide users through using the functions. So this is what it says. You see, this is helping us to select some formulas, right?
Yeah.
So instead of, you see, I can do some average address or something, average if analysis. So many are there, so many functions are there. And also nested functions. So nested function is a separate formula which we can perform. A nested function is like inside a function you will be performing a function like opening two brackets at a time and we are closing two brackets, right? So this is like combining multiple functions within a single formula to perform complex calculation. I think I will, for example, I will show you the nested function. This is a function where I will add these two values, okay, and then I'll have to add this plus this value. I don't know whether the result will appear or not. We'll see it, okay, eventually we'll see it. What is meant by
Okay.
nested function? We also have with an example. Okay. So, what is the tips that we are receiving is to always reference the cell. See, referencing cell. Use cell references as arguments to make function dynamic and adaptable to changing data. Because we always change the data. There are a lot of possibilities where cells cell values might change, the data might change. So we should always reference the cell. So, understanding functional results. Functional written results based on specific criteria or conditions. The function will always result in the condition of the criteria what we are asking, right? So, this is what it says. And error handling. And also, we have an option like error handling. As you also showed me an example like value error, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is
Yeah. Yeah.
a common error type which we will receive. So error handling is like Excel functions might return errors based on incorrect inputs or references. So that is why I told you when you enter multiple, it is an incorrect. So it is showing hash value of apostrophe, exclamatory or something. So we should be able to troubleshoot it and handle those errors. So we will also look how to troubleshoot and handle these. Okay, error handling. And finally, learning functions with categories. So what is mean by learning function with categories? So learning functional categories. So familiarize yourself with different function categories and their purposes to leverage them effectively. As I've showed you, there are like a lot of functions ought to be learned and used. You see, these many functions are there. I'm not pretty much sure about all these functions, but each function will serve a value which you can see also. So settlement maturity issue. This is related to price ability. PV is return the present value of an investment. So those are related to finance, and those are related to if it's like we'll see what is an if it's like an you see statistical function, right? So we have a lot of functions which we can segregate through the type. So this is a mathematical function, and this is a financial function. This is a logical function. We have text functions. We have date and time functions. Lookup reference. So when you see it only, you can easily understand it, right? So those are all. So so you have completed engineering, is it?
Yeah.
So you see, in engineering terms only, you have so much of functions, predefined function, which
These are all short forms. Now, how do you know what it stands
you
for?
see when you hover on this thing, you
Um,
see IMCSC in I number written the consequent of a complex number. I don't know what is the exact meaning of consequent of consequent, because engineering people might know written the complex conjugate of complex number. So these are all like basic terminologies only. When you are able to uh, make an understanding of the word, you can easily use these functions. These are not predefined functions, right? For they have segregated on based upon the type. So based upon the type of statistics, based upon the engineering, based upon the cube, based upon the information, based upon maths, based upon references, date and time, text, logical, financial, and autosum. I mean, mathematical. So they have many functions. And also we have seen learning the functional categories. I have also included it. And finally, that's it. So we will just go through the we'll just go through the modules overview which I have provided about working with functions. Okay, inserting function, select a cell. So we know how to insert a function. So when we select a cell, click on the cell where you wanted the function result to appear. So accessing the function. So how do you access the function? We'll just go to the formula tab on the ribbon and choosing a function. So click on insert function or use the function button like sum, average. I have showed you all those things, and select a commonly used function or which the required function we can use it, or use the fx button to open the insert function. I think this is related to Windows. So when you click on the fx button, maybe the dialog box will open to insert the function. Yes, the dialog box to search and select a specific function. So enter the argument. So when we are entering a syntax, there has to be some arguments. Arguments are requirements, which cell we are referring and what are we asking is the arguments. So Excel prompts for the functional arguments in a dialog box. Input cell references. Input cell references or other required values for the functions arguments. So ensure the arguments are separated by commas. So we can enter uh, 3 to 4 or n number of arguments. Like, so each argument can be separated by a comma and the correct order, and in the correct order as per the functional syntax. I mean, and also we see autofill functions. using autofill. Once you have entered the function in a cell, you can use the autofill handle, small square at the bottom, right corner of the cell too. So what does it mean by autofill? What does it say? When it says autofill, it is saying like, you see, when I am dragging and dropping right to the next cell, it says autofill. Okay, Nisha?
Yeah. Can you once report I missed the last one?
Okay, which one you are getting confused?
The last part one.
Last one in the sense
Yeah. Yeah. Scroll.
auto sum, your
Yeah.
autofill
Okay.
autofill
Yeah.
function. This one,
Yeah.
it's very easy. You see, you see, I have see, I have entered the formula in this area. Okay, and it says, once you have entered a function in a cell, I have entered a function in a cell in C1. Okay, I have entered it. You can use autofill handle, small square at the bottom right corner of the cell. So it says, in the bottom right corner of the cell, you can see a small box which is represented in green. This thing, man. Mm,
Yeah, I can see.
you can see it, right?
Yeah, I can see. Go.
I will just drag it to the next cell. This is autofill. I have already entered the formula in the C1. I wanted to drag it to the, I wanted to autofill it to the C2. I've just dragged it. This is simple, right? So for
That,
complex also, you will do the same thing. If you have a large set of data also, what you will do is, you will, if you have some numbers in it, and you can just click on the data and you will drag it. Correct? No.
what?
So this is what they mean by autofilling the functions, because we have entered the formula in a cell and we wanted the same results. I mean, not the same results. We need the subsequent results in the upcoming cells, in the below cells. So we can use the autofill option. And you can see, drag the autofill handle across the range of cells where you wanted to apply the function which I have showed you, and adapt the function references. So functions adjust their references when copied. Ensure references are relative or absolute as needed. So we know functions are related to, I can only relate it to an individual cell, or I can relate it to a reference. So this is a reference, but this is individual. Correct? Both are formulas. Am I confusing you?
No, no, no.
Actually, you see, I have entered the formula here only by asking to make a calculation of a1 and b1. But however, I have referenced the same formula in the next column. I mean, in the next cell. But
Okay.
however, it is considering A2 and B2. So
Okay.
this is absolute value. This is independent values, and this is the formulas which I have copied in A2. And also you see, A2 and B2 is also very independent. But you see, the C2 is relative, because we have referenced from C1 formula. The formula we have referenced it. So we will make sure that we have that knowledge about having differentiation about absolute and relative. Absolute is very independent and relative is dependent.
Okay.
Okay. So functional adjusts their references when copied, correct, and ensure the references are relative or absolute as needed. And then nested function, combining the functions. So nested is like combining only. Functions can be nested within each other to perform complex calculations. Yes, it can perform complex calculation as well. Enter one function as an argument of another function. So this is nested function, and we have functional library. So functional library, which I have showed you in the Excel, like exploring the functional categories. So it is asking us to familiarize ourselves with various function categories like mathematical, text, logical, lookup, reference, date and time, statistical, financial, etc. And understand the purpose and syntax of function in each category. Yes, we will have to make sure understanding the purpose and the syntax of functions. Syntax is very essential. And understanding the results in error handling. So interpreting the functional results. So like it is like understanding the output provided by different functions and their significance in calculations or analysis. So error handling is like functions might return error values like these and due to incorrect inputs or references. So learn to troubleshoot and handle these errors. Yeah, we will have to learn and troubleshoot. And advanced functional usage. So advanced functional usage is like using the name ranges. Create name ranges to simplify functional inputs by assigning a name to a specific cell. So what does it mean? Like they are asking to reference each of the cell to make it very precise. So there are a lot of n number of cells. So we cannot reference all of the cells, right? But when you are using a formula, it will be easier for us to reference the cell. And also other people can also easily view it, easily understand it, how it is referenced. So this is what it says, references it. And array formulas. So explore array formulas for performing calculations on multiple items in one formula. Okay. Array formulas is continuous, like we are using like one to two formulas, different formulas in the same function, in the same cell maybe. So the tips what they have provided is like online resource and help. We have to get resources from the online help for Excel or from Google Sheet community. So utilize Excel's built-in help features. So we can use the help feature which I have showed you, I think. So we see you see the help function is here. So we can always search about new functions what is available, or we can find about the keyboard shortcuts to perform a function. So we can do it and practice and experiment. Yes, only the theory knowledge will not help us. We will have to do some calculations, we will have to practically experiment it, so we can get a better understanding. And finally, by utilizing all of these steps, we can effectively use the functions to perform calculation, analyze the data, and streamline the spreadsheet tasks. So this is the overview of working with functions. And I'll go to the, so there are like one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. So there are like seven processes are there to work with the functions.
Just for function alone.
Yeah. What was it?
So just for the functions alone, we have
Yes,
seven processes.
yes. Just for the functions alone, we have seven processes. So working how to work with a function is like a module, and inside that module we have seven processes.
Right.
So the first one is related to writing conditional expressions. So what is writing conditional expressions? So writing conditional expressions using the function, I will just see it. So what does it say? So writing conditional expressions using the if function in Excel allows you to create logical tests that return different values based on specific conditions. The if function has the syntax. So what syntax it has? So yeah. So you see Nishal, so if it's like doing what if analysis only. You know, we have discussed about what if analysis, right? So when in this as being a business analyst, you will have to being a critical thinker, you will have to analyze about what if this is done. So there are
Yeah.
see I will give you a glimpse of how to map the processes. Okay, you see event will occur. Okay, event are considered in circles. Okay, this is an event. So what is an event? So event is a happening. An event is a happening. So what event is happening? It's like a start event is happening in simpler terms. When an event happens, obviously it has to end, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it has to end. So this is an end event. So when an event is started, obviously it will end. We know it. But in between, there are multiple tasks or activities will be performed. Correct, right?
Yeah.
So this is what it says: tasks or activities. Activity. Okay. So an event is started. So an activity after an event, the following activity will be performed. So it will contribute to the end event. So the end event can be a positive or expected results. Okay, and then another end event might occur like a negative one. Negative end event. Okay, you see when a positive end event happens, when it is ended, it might trigger an other entire processes, right? If it is a negative, or else if it is returning a negative end result, it will trigger an another process in a different way. So this is a what if analysis. So what if we are receiving the positive result, and what if we are receiving the negative result. So this is like what if, right? The same will be applied in the Excel sheet also. Are you getting my point? What I'm expecting to tell you, what I'm meaning to say you, Vishal?
Kind of, but not entirely.
Okay, this is like a process map. I am giving you
Process. Yeah.
yeah, I am providing you a simpler concept of, because when I write it in long text, it will be more confusing. But when I represent it in a pictorial representation, it will be easy for you to understand, right? When I'm
Yeah.
providing, when I'm giving you like events in circles and tasks in boxes, and providing an overview, it will be easy for you to understand. The same way, we are using what if. So using the if statement, if conditional expression, this is a function which is used in the Excel, and also this is applicable to day to day life. We can we can consider what if statement in what if I go out. So there are like two possible scenarios might happen. I might i might meet with an accident, I might come home safely. So both should have some values, right? What is the objective? That I should come home safely. That should be the happy path. If I meet with an accident, it will be an negative path. It is an unhappy path. So the client will not accept, right? The client is not expecting for unhappy paths. The clients or stakeholders will always expect for happy paths. But unhappy paths has to be included to mitigate the risks, right? So that is why we have if function in the Excel. So, so writing conditional expression using the if function in Excel allows you to create logical test. So this is the logic, right? If A is not happening, B should happen. If B is not happening, A should happen. So what if B is happening? What if A is happening? So this is like using if. All the statement you see, I've used only if. What if, what if not? So this is the logic. So you see the syntax is like if logical test is passed, it will return the value of true. If it is not, it will return false. So they have provided an overview uh, of a simpler concept of using if. Okay, we will see it in how to use it in the Excel sheet. So this is a logical test. So we have examples. So we'll finish it when we are able to complete it today.
Okay. So where would this if function come into place in Excel? For what purpose do we use this?
If function, it is a logical function. If function is a logical function. Are you asking about this or
So when we pull out an Excel sheet,
okay?
how do we use this as an example or
Yeah,
the Excel one?
I will show you. I will show you.
Okay.
Syntax and explanation. We have given it, and again we are using if function. If function. Basic conditional statement. mostly we have all this information related to the if function. Okay, we'll see the basic conditional statement. Okay, syntax is equal to
Yeah.
okay, a1 we have the value of 200. Everything. I will say if a1 is greater than 200, okay, what I will say, comma, 200.
Do you need to put F or not necessarily?
Yeah. We'll see. Syntax is equal to if a1 is greater than 10, greater than 10. It should appear possibly. So you see, this is the simplest calculation. If okay, if basically provides whatever the argument we are giving, it will throw true or false. For
So
example,
how did that come?
so take for an example, in E5 column, I am entering a value of 1000. Okay, and I need the result in G column. I mean in H column or something. I need the result. So what I will do is I need yeah, I need to reference only this cell. Okay, if it is more than 1000, I wanted true or false. For example, take for an example true or false. It is if not true, it should be false. That's it. The simple logic. So I will put the syntax as equal to if I mean equal to sorry equal to if I will open the bracket. E5 is greater than 1000. Bracket should be there. Okay. If 1000 is greater than E5 is greater than 1000, it should return value, it should return it will return true. It's greater than 1000. You see, it's not greater than 1000, it is equal to 1000. When I put 900 here, it is false. When I put 1010, it will change to true because the formula says E5 should be greater than 10,000. I mean 1000, right?
Yeah.
So if E5 is greater than 1000, it will reflect as true. I don't know what is the syntax they will write it because I'm not a coding, I'm not a programmer. I can
But
only
these are
make the
if
function.
functions are basically for coders, is it? The one
Yes,
person
if
who are
functions,
technically
but
strong in coding.
actually they are telling these functions can also be utilized in Excel. Mostly people, only the coding people will not use, the programmers will not use the Excel, right? Even though
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
most of the analysts will also use the uh, Excel functions. So in Excel
Oh,
we can utilize if nested if is there, and so many are there, so we can explore it when we have time, we can explore it. But I'm just giving you a gist of what is an if statement and how it is produced. So I'm just trying to copy and paste the logical concepts what they have, what is mentioned in the theory. Okay, if they open the bracket greater than 10 equal to, you see when I copy it. So when I enter 9 also, it says, oh sorry, instead I will reference E5, and also I will say 1000. You see, when I referenced the E5 column with the syntax, if E5 is greater than 1000, it should appear like greater than 1000. Now the value is only 9. You see, the value is only 9. That is why it says less than or equal to 1000. So I will do, what I will do is I'll change it to 1001. So it will automatically change it to greater than 1. This is what, this is what I'm referring to. Are you getting my point?
getting it. Question there is, remember how we had these formulas, all the predefined formulas? Can we use something like that here?
Yeah, yeah.
Predefined
Obviously, we can
functions
use it.
for it.
Obviously, we can use it.
Okay.
So instead, I am telling you, because I might make mistakes. That is why I'm copying the formula. Okay. I need,
Mm-hmm.
where do I need, where do you need the result? You give me an example. Where do you need an example? Where do you want me to?
We were doing it in E5, but we'll take as
Yeah.
G7.
In
Okay.
which, I mean, I'm asking you in which cell you need the result. Which cell? Can you mention any cell? Which cell you need the result?
C7.
C7
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Okay, C7 we need result. So
Yeah.
I have pasted the formula.
Hmm.
Or I will only refer the formula from here. Okay, if
Okay.
okay equal to if I will open the bracket what I have mentioned a1 is greater than 10. Okay, I will say a1 is greater than 200 because we have 200. Okay, a1 is greater than 200 comma greater than 200. If it is greater than 200 it should appear like greater than 200. No, it is actually false. And also I am providing uh, this one or that one, right? Actually it should not result like true or false. Instead it should result less than or equal to 200. Equal to comma comma less than or equal to 200. Okay, you get it right.
Yeah. But
So
all the pros who work in Excel, why would I mean, why would they want to waste their time?
I'm
This
sorry.
is small. Okay, you're giving me an example. But
Yeah.
if they're working in a big organization with multiple big values,
Hmm.
why would someone want to waste their time by copying the formulas manually?
Okay, I'm not copying it. I will just tell you with the concept. Okay.
No, I'm not saying you. I'm not saying you.
No, I'm
I'm
providing
asking you
you
as a
the.
question.
Hmm.
No, I understand yours, but how would they do it in a bigger organization? Is what I'm asking.
Yeah, using all these steps only. Using all these steps only, they
Okay.
will see the logical concept what they need. Okay. I will. I will.
Okay. Yeah.
This is a simpler concept of using an if statement. If it is greater than
Mhm.
200, provide the result like greater than 200. If it is less than 200, we are asking the Excel to display the result. Like if it is greater than 200, you calculate it and provide the result of greater than 200. If it is less than 200, you calculate and provide only the result to us. We are providing the syntax to get the result, right? To based upon the calculation to get the result. So this is a simple calculation. If you ask for very complex thing, yeah, we will have to go deeper and we have to know about sequence, no, logical sequence, why if is used,
Yeah.
why and is used, why not is used. And
Mhm.
we in this scenario only using a simpler if statement we have seen uh, usually it reflect equal to when we have put it like see here equal to a1 is greater than 300. No, we know it, right?
Okay.
Is a1 is greater than 300?
No.
No, actually when I enter it, it is appearing to be true, which is logic, right? And also I'm changing the argument to lesser than 300. Is it true?
Still gives false only, no?
It gives false only because it is not
Yeah.
greater than or lesser than 300. When we enter equal to
It's
only,
equal
it
to.
is true.
Yeah. It is
But
true. Yeah.
what
Got
we are doing is when it is greater than 300, so if statement is like providing if this or not. Correct? No.
if it is correct or not.
Yeah.
That's what the use of if statement.
Yeah. If if a1 is greater than 300, result like success. Okay, comma are not success. Maybe I will try this. But I think we will have to use the brackets. So what is missing here? What is the mistake that I have done? So if A1 is greater than 300, okay. See, even if we are not entering a comma, it will not display the expected results, right?
Right.
Only because of a comma, we are doing it incorrectly. You see, the argument which we have given is the syntax which we have used is like equal to, greater than, and commas, apostrophe, open brackets and close brackets. These are the syntax which we have used, and the arguments which we have used are like if is an argument, and a1 is the reference argument which you have asked to refer, and 300 is the value reference is an argument. Success and not success are the results which we are expecting to be displayed. So this is the arguments which we have used. So syntax we have provided with an argument using if conditional statement, right? Am I making it clear?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So right now, if A1 is greater than 300, it will provide success. If it is not greater than 300, it will provide not success. Obviously, it is not greater than 300. When I change the value to 400, as well as we know it, as the logic, it is greater than 400, it should expect to display success because it's greater than 300. So now you get it right.
Yeah.
So this is a simpler one. For complex we need to get into deeper, I think. Okay, this is what the basic
Sure.
conditional statement says. And we have a nested if statement. Nested, you say, you see, they have a formula inside that, they have another if statement. Actually, you see, we have two expected results to be displayed, success and not success, and also with using only one if. And
Yeah.
in the nested statement, if statement, we have like an another if statement which is nested inside the if condition. So that is called as nested. So you have this option. Okay, I will, you have this document handy. Whenever you need it, you can use
Yeah.
it. When you have time, please utilize this formulas using your own numbers. There is no numbers provided. 10 is an example value which it is mentioned. So you can replace it with any of the numbers and check whether the results are expected or it is failure. Okay. So so this is very simple only. You can go through it. If you have any doubts, please post it in the Slack group or I mean in WhatsApp. Anything is fine. We can clarify it then and there. Okay.
Okay.
So we'll complete it here for this thing, because however I am out of schedule every day. You see, but it is very simple only when we are able to understand the concept in basically, we can easily cover the other topics in the future session, right?
As per your calculation, if we do 2.5 or 3 hours of class every day, how long do you reckon it's going to take?
So 2
Will it
weeks.
still take those 4 months, or
2 weeks.
maybe less
Excel
than
will
that?
take 2 weeks for us to complete, I believe. So we have already in the second rate and 5.2, we will have to cover about 5.12. So I see the working with reports is the major thing we will have to cover, and functions is the next big thing, and using these charts. You see, other things are very pretty small. So when we are able to complete the functions in a week time, this week I believe, mm, today is Tuesday, no? Today is Tuesday. In this weekend, I think we can able to complete sorting and filtering data, and next week we'll try to cover the remaining. I don't know because
Okay.
how long it will take. I
Okay.
don't know because I will also provide you the study materials and also provide you some examples, right?
Yeah.
So that's why it's taking time. But however, we'll see to it. We'll try to cover as quick as possible. So here we have, using logical functions and or not, we will see it, and using lookup and reference function like h lookup, v lookup, matching and indexes. I've given you an overview view about v lookup and h lookup, right? So we will also look about in depth about what is h lookup, what functionalities, capabilities will h lookup will provide, and these are very mandatory questions asked by the interview panel. If they are asking about Excel, they will ask about VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP. And you see, most of the contents are related to VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP only. You see, 5 point C, D, E, F, G. Because HLOOKUP and VLOOKUPs are, it contributes a majority of the Excel's work we are doing. So in your company also, you will be using VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP, right?
No, I don't do. We don't
You
use
don't do, but
Excel in depth.
yeah,
But
you
yeah, probably 100%. People are data analysts or business analysts
yeah,
or
they
someone
will do it. So if we know the logical concept of,
manager level.
yeah,
Yeah.
in, so we will, if we are knowing about the concepts of VLOOKUP, how to do it and where to utilize it, obviously we can also play with the data. So we'll see how it goes. Okay. So we'll try to cover the second topics, which is working with functions by tomorrow. Okay.